Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your morning with me today, or afternoon, if it's that time, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Jacqueline with Vibrational Energy Solutions, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how coming back to our home to our heart can be one of the greatest journeys that you can go on. And so today our presentation is called 3 Keys to Your Divine Destiny for remembering coming home to your power, your passion, and your purpose. So thank you so much for joining me. And so how many people here have had a time in your life where you feel disempowered, or you feel like you've given your power away to others? And if you could just raise your hand or just say, yeah, I've known that. Yep, in the chat. Thank you, Grind, for sharing. And how often have you noticed that you lose a sense of yourself? Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So if you can relate to this, I remember one day looking in the mirror and saying, who is this woman staring back at me? And no longer recognizing myself. I had chameleoned and conformed so often to create safety in my life that it seemed like I didn't even know who the real me was anymore. Can any of you relate to this story? And it seems like so often you have to put a mask on to make other people comfortable or to meet someone's expectations. So I know that for me, I realized I had a mentor in my life say to me, if the next 12 months of your life were like the last 12 months, would you be excited or would you be disappointed? Let that land for you for a second. If the next 12 months of your life were like the last 12 months, how would you feel? And I know for me, I was coming from a state of living with depression, living in grief. My sister had passed away that year, and it was difficult to find my footing again. And it seemed like it was a journey of one setback after another. After my sister died, my mom passed, then my dad passed. I've had several friends, my business partner, all pass away. And so it's been a knowing of I need to pick myself back up. Thank you. Thank you for your condolences. But it's been a journey. It has been a journey of picking myself back up and rising stronger and stronger again. So, with that, I want to share with you a story. And before I begin the story, I want to let you know of the possibilities that exist in our lives when we choose to get back up again. We can build a legacy of however that looks for your life. For me, it's a legacy of love, to make the world a better place, to leave the world a better place than how I found it. And I remember being a small child, having that hope, that sparkle in my eyes. And over time, and even as a young child, having that dampered down, almost like like people were trying to smother me, smother my voice, smother my existence. And so the possibility when you get back up again is that you can stand unwavering in love with you, becoming that loving sense of responsibility that is there to stand with you, holding you, and that inner child that's inside of your heart that really wants to know love, that wants to know belonging, that doesn't want to feel like a lone wolf anymore. So in my life, being a lone wolf was my survival mode. for being safe. I remember when I was a small child, I was maybe like 6 years old, and my mom had taken me to the store with her. We went to J.C. Penney's, and I can't remember why we were there, but it was not to shop for me. Because I had asked for a pair of jeans, and all the other kids in school had new clothes, and I was the youngest of 6 kids, and my parents struggled and financially, and for me to get a new something was very rare because I always got the hand-me-downs because they were always good enough. Can anybody relate with this? And for me, my mom, we were at J.C. Penney's, and when I asked for that new pair of jeans, she said, "No." And I remember inside feeling like, why does everybody else get new clothes, but I can't. Like for in that moment, I just felt so small. And I remember having a breakdown in the store and just going into crying, just un unconsolable crying. And my mom took me out of the store and she said, "You better stop crying." And I couldn't stop crying. And so we started driving away. And as we're driving away, my mom warns me one more time, "Jackie, you need to stop crying now." And I couldn't. And she pulled over the car. She told me to get out of the car and she drove off. So can you imagine being a small child, a little girl, and watching your mom drive off and feeling so alone? And my sister was in the car and was yelling at her, "Go back and get her. You go back and get her right now." And so they went around a really large block, which happened to be the housing project in the town that we lived in. It was this large community area, and so she had to drive all the way around to come back and get me. So it felt like forever to me as a small child. And so in that moment, I learned that I couldn't state what I needed or wanted. I couldn't state how I was feeling, and I needed to be a good girl in order to be loved. Can anybody relate with that? So just feel that. Did you have to be good to be loved? Yeah. Yeah, my heart is with you. Thank you for sharing. So as we feel into how how terrible that felt as a small child to feel alone, to not feel loved or lovable because you were voicing, sharing what you needed or wanted. And that's not the first time or the last time that something like that happened with my mom. But my mom always had everything that she needed. She grew up in a family where they had a successful business, and my mom had new clothes. My mom, her mom always wanted her children to look their best. And so my mom probably felt like she wasn't meeting up to the standards because meeting my grandmother's standards was always very difficult. So I remember when my curiosity got the best of me. Any other curious souls in the bunch who your curiosity might have been something that got you into trouble? So I remember being at my grandparents' house, and as just a little, probably even younger than that, 6 years old, I remember being out back on the patio and finding a bobby pin, and I was wondering what would happen if I stuck this in the outdoor outlet. What would happen? And what happened was I fried my finger, and I ran to the back door and I started screaming because my finger was black. I remember looking at my finger and seeing the black and like smelling that burnt smell. And having the scare of my life of electricity being sent through my body and just being so scared and afraid and in pain. And I start screaming at the top of my lungs. And my mom meets me at the door and she's like, stop your screaming right now. You're going to wake your grandfather. So seeing how this conditioning plays a part in how we grow up, how we are received, and how we show up, how we conform, how we change who we are to feel loved. Not authentically loved because we're not being ourselves. And I remember my mom did not help me. My sister was there. I have one of my older sisters was like my mom. She was 10. So I have one that's 5 years older, 10 years older, and they just progress up. We had 6 in our family. And I was the youngest, the black sheep, the curious soul. And so, and we had a couple more black sheeps in our family too. So I'm grateful. I wasn't alone in that sense, but um, my mom shushed me at the door because she was afraid of my grandmother. My mom just couldn't measure up. Anything she did, anything she showed, how she showed up wasn't good enough for my grandma. And my mom had polio as a little girl. My grandmother got married very, very young and had my mom very, very young as a teenager, as a young teenager. And so in my grandmother's eyes, I can sense her resentment, how she stole her youth, and have compassion. I have compassion for my mom, who never felt good enough. I have compassion for my grandmother, who felt like her youth was stolen and she had to grow up so fast. And as a young child, we don't understand this. As a young child, we feel, I need to be good to be loved. I need to be good so that I'm not left behind. I need to be good so that I know that I matter, so that I know that I'm precious, so that I fit in and I belong in this family. And so that was my young story of how I didn't fit in, how I always came last, number 6. Always came in last. Even the races in school, I never, nothing was a competition for me. I was happy to let everybody else win. It was good to see everybody else win. And for me, that that story was a hard one to overcome, to show up in my life, to want to be successful, to want to make a difference, to help others to feel better, to help others feel like they belonged, and any other people pleasers in the room. So how that looked and showed up was, in order to be safe, I needed to show up in a way where I was a helper, where I supported everyone around me so that they felt good. And I took responsibility for how other people felt. And that was a long time coming and breaking that cycle. Is there anybody else who feels responsible for how other people feel? Yeah, my heart is with you guys. My heart is with you. Because learning that you are not responsible for what anyone else says, does, thinks, it's not yours. And as empathics, as empaths, people that are highly sensitive to other people's energy, we become that way because we had to. It was a part of our survival mechanism. And you are not responsible for what anyone says, does, thinks. So that's one thing, one key that I want to share with you today. is you are not responsible for what anyone else says, thinks, does. You are responsible for you, what you think, what you do, what you say, because that's what's creating our lives. That is what is animating our lives. So the turning point for me has been a journey. I've been a mystical nomad and I've been traveling all around the world, allowing myself to experience different cultures, different ways of being, different experiences of terrain, of nature, letting it fuel me and fill me. And one of the steps along my journey has been overcoming codependent patterns. So, as someone who always wanted to support, oftentimes I found myself in relationships with people with addictive patterns, people that were addicted to alcohol, were addicted to drugs. And so I wanted to understand this pattern. I wanted to break it forever. And one way that I decided I was going to do that was to make a difference. And so I decided to become a house manager for a sober living home for young ladies that were battling addiction. Addiction from alcohol, addiction from crystal meth, addiction from fentanyl, addiction from cocaine, addiction from all sorts of drugs. And I watched each one make choices, and I let them make their choices because I had to, because I was not responsible for what they did, what they said, what they thought. All I could do was hold the space of love and be in the space of grace to allow them to make their choices and sometimes fall hard, sometimes fall very, very hard, where their life was in danger. And that was so difficult to watch. But it made me understand I am not responsible for what they do, what they think, what they say, but I am able to hold that space of love and let them know that they matter, that their life is precious, and attempt to help them to understand the cycle of addiction, the cycle of codependency, the cycle of becoming an empath, and how we become so sensitive to our environment, so sensitive to who we are and how we're showing up in the world. So, the resolution to all of this and tying this all together is allowing myself to have these experiences allows me to show up as a powerful transformational life coach, as a resilience mentor, as a recovery mentor, to help people to know that they matter, that their life is precious. So, is any of this hitting home? Or is this relatable? Can you understand maybe something in your own life that has happened, maybe thoughts and belief patterns that were created as a small child in your own mind, and how they came to be, and how you've been living with that pattern for long enough, and it's time to say, I'm precious and I matter and my well-being is my priority. And that's how we take back our power and our passion and our purpose, because you do matter and your light in this world makes an immense difference. The vibration that you bring through, and we always have choice, we always have free will. Yeah. I see you. I see you. With every choice we have, I like to say we're in a battle between light and dark. And if you remember that old cartoon when you were a child, where there was a little devil on one shoulder and an angel on the other, and that little devil would be telling you stories, helping you to make those choices that were maybe on the learning curve, helping you to learn the hard way. Then you'd have that little angel, your conscience, that connection to your higher self that would be on your other shoulder, the little angel saying, you know, there's probably not anything good that's going to come from this. There's other choices we could be making. But sometimes we took that hard path. Sometimes we took that hard path because sometimes the experiential lesson is something that's going to sink in so deep here. It's going to make such an impact that you're never going to forget it. And I took the school of hard knocks because I really wanted to get it. I really wanted it to sink in. So here we are. Here we are. So, with the choices that are in front of you today and every day, we have that beautiful gift of being present, becoming aware of the choices of the past, where it brought us to now, the choices in our future, where we can say what we're available for, what we're not available for. So, the climb out, the climb out of those stories that are here can be difficult. When we are caught in the mind, the stories, it's a never-ending leap and you can never think yourself out of it. You can never it's not figure outable. It's here. It's getting present with your heart. It's understanding that you have to make you your priority. So, with that, it takes being self-responsible. I know it's really easy to push the blame off on others. I know I chose relationships that gave me hard lessons. Has anybody else chosen relationships in your life that gave you some really brilliant lessons? Ones you couldn't have learned any other way? Ones that made you claim your value? That made you understand how those choices created a trajectory on your life that created pain that also caused other people pain? I've done that very regretfully. So rather than living with regret, if we can turn it into fuel for our purpose so that we can create a trajectory, creating a legacy of love, transforming some of those generational patterns, making the wounds the wisdom so that we don't have to repeat it again. So people we love don't have to repeat it again. Are you with me? Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. My heart is with all of you with so much love. Each one of us has such a unique journey. The choices that we've had to make. Yeah. The choices that have taught us so much and continue to teach us and help us to help others on their path. How rewarding is that? I wouldn't change a thing. And I'm so grateful to my mom. She was one of my greatest teachers, even through all of those hard times. Yeah. And how often do we give our power away to others? Allowing allowing ourselves to fully authentically be ourselves, to trust ourselves, knowing that our power is the one thing that will save us. The power to speak our truth, the power to peel off all of those masks of conforming, fitting in, trying to be what everybody else needs and expects, that leaves you miserable, feeling alone, and wondering, who are you? Becoming raw, real, and naked with yourself, taking it all off and looking into your eyes, the windows of your soul, and saying, I love you. Looking into the mirror, looking into your eyes, and saying, I love you. Can I get a show of hands? Can everybody agree to do this when we get off of this? Or even look into your own eyes right now. Can you see your own eyes? Look into your eyes, being invisible and silent. That is crushing for your soul and your spirit, for that inner child within you that wants to be seen, that wants to belong. Healing those wounds of that inner sense of self. And that's where the ego comes into play. So we're taught at an early age, we either need to run away, we need to fight and defend, attack, or we need to be the victim. And how much power is there in any of those? I know I was in the victim role for a long time. I ran away for a long time. I was a lone wolf for a long time. I had to create a relationship. Oh, yeah. Love being the victim. Loved being the victim. Everybody felt sorry for me. Oh, yeah. No, they really didn't. They really didn't. We like to think isn't that just a wonderful story? But really, truly, being the lone wolf, how this manifested in my life, I created a relationship with a man who was an animal handler who had a wolf, who told me he couldn't count on me. The only thing he could count on was himself. And then I went to my son's wedding and he didn't come with me. And when I got ushered down the aisle to the front aisle on my side of the family, I was all alone in the front row. And that was my moment. That was my moment that said, that told me, wow, could God give you a bigger sign than putting you in the front row at your son's wedding all alone? That's pretty good, isn't it? And what I did was I imagined my ancestors sitting next to me, my sister who had passed away, my mom who was in hospice at the time, my dad who couldn't come. He couldn't travel to be with us. He was with my mom, my grandma, my grandpa, my aunts, my uncles. I filled up that row so that I knew that I wasn't alone. But it took a few minutes. I had a couple little tears that kind of came up and I was like, wow, that really hit home. That really hit home. So those bumps and bruises in life, those experiences shape us. They heal. They show us, they guide us where is our healing? Where is the healing that is necessary for our lives? And those bumps and bruises in life, they're only directing you back to those times where your heart didn't feel valued, didn't feel like it mattered, didn't feel loved or lovable. And even the triggers that come up right now. Anybody have triggers in their life right now? How brilliant are you to create triggers in your life to help you to heal? We truly are blessed. to create those triggers to help us to take a deeper look at what's inside, to say what we're available for, what we're not available for, to help us come home to our heart and make our well-being our priority. Yeah. So whenever a trigger comes up, remind yourself, this is another key. This is not that. This moment, this experience that's triggering me, it's not that. It feels like that. It feels like that. But it's not that. This is not that. Those other people in your life, they may not have the capacity to hold you in the way that you need to be held. And so as we look for people to be in our lives, we get to ask, does this person really have the capacity for my time and energy to honor me, respect me, value me? Because if not, you get to hold your vibration at a level where you own it. You are self-responsible for owning your vibration and keeping your vibration as high as you can. Keep it up there. Keep it up there. Because if you bring in these lower vibrating people that are down here, we have to find a level where we can resonate. And so what will happen is we will come from all the way up here to meet them down here. I have an emotional awareness chart, an emotional awareness map. If you want to understand more about this, I can share that with you. Make sure to click follow, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to do some breath work with me for free. I'm going to run a session on June 20th. And so if you go ahead and actually, I'm just going to drop it in the chat right now before I forget. Go ahead and click on that link, and that link will take you to my breathwork page. And so you will get informed about that free breathwork session that I will be hosting on June 20th. And then what you can also do is message me from there and follow me on Eventbrite and let me know that you want that emotional awareness map. But I'll make sure that everybody that's on this list gets that, because I want to make sure that you have tools in your toolbox to understand why we conform. Like why do we seek a different level and bring ourselves down to meet other people down here, instead of calling people into knowing our value, making our well-being a priority, and making sure that we're meeting people up here. So I'm happy to share that with you so that we can have greater people with greater capacity in our lives. Yes, you are so welcome. You are so welcome. And then we get to grow our capacity for ourselves when we own our value and we take back our power by saying, I'm available for this, but I'm not available for that. I'm not responsible for how you feel, what you say, what you do. I'm responsible for how I feel. And if I'm triggered, I need to, I want to, I get to, I'm blessed to take a deeper look at that and say, what is here for me to learn? What is here for me to understand? What is calling me to grow here? Which brings me into the next key, and that is to trust ourselves. as you make your well-being your priority, maintaining your own safety, you learn to trust yourself. You learn to show up for yourself, which in turn allows you to show up better for others. And you get to see how precious, how beautiful, inside and out you are. And truly, so often we're looking on the outside of what beauty is. And like I said, look into your eyes and say, I love you. Because no matter what you look like on the outside right now, it's a reflection of how you're feeling on the inside. And as you love yourself, as you become intimate and connected, raw, real, naked with you, you get to, you're blessed to acknowledge how precious you are, how your well being matters, and to not allow others to make you conform in a way that takes any of that safety away. So, with that, that is a cycle of how we conform, how we fall away from who we truly are, and can lead to codependency issues where we're looking outside of ourselves for that safety, where we fall into addictive patterns, and those addictive patterns are just trying to quiet the suffering. That's what I came to understand is that quieting the suffering. Oh, can you hear me okay? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. So, quieting the suffering that we are feeling only comes by truly feeling it. In order to heal it, you have to feel it. And so, to give you a tool in your toolbox, I'm a Soma IQ somatic release breathwork practitioner, and I'm going to teach you something about regulation breathing. Regulation breathing, when we breathe in through our nose and then exhale out of our mouth, make your exhale longer than your inhale. In through your nose, out through your mouth. So remember when they said, take a deep breath and count to 10? We need to bring back that public service announcement. I remember that one when I was younger. I haven't heard it in a really long time. But truly, your breath is your inspiration, your respiration, how we re-spirit ourselves, allows us to live with inspiration in our hearts, allows us to take back our power, your passion, and your purpose. So if you ever find yourself feeling anxious, I welcome you to remember this moment. Count to 10. Take a deep breath. And let your shoulders relax. Feel into your body. Somatic work is about being in the body. And so often we disconnect. We numb ourselves from it. We don't want to feel. So this is your opportunity to remember, in order to heal it, we must feel it. And so in those addiction patterns that I witnessed throughout my life, my dad owned a bar. He owned a tavern. And my dad had a great heart. My dad had a great connection with nature. His family was very loving. He came from a big family of 12 people. And so his idea of helping people was to numb out. He'd sit at the bar and talk with them and you know, serve them lots of drinks. And my journey has been relationships with people with addictions because that felt familiar. I remember being a young girl when my dad bought the bar, he brought back all these, they had a whole basement full of old alcohol and cigarettes. So when I was 15, you better believe my curiosity had me exploring. I wonder what that feels like. Ooh, this feels kind of good. Yeah, I would never consider myself an suffering from addiction, but I've done enough exploration and experimentation to understand a lot. And what I realized working in addiction, working as a manager with young women suffering from addiction, what I came to understand is there is a battle between that light and dark. So we constantly have that little devil who's wanting us to just sink back into the numbness, just sink back into conforming, letting go of our stand of knowing that we matter, knowing that you're precious. There's the light again. You're precious. Your well-being matters. Your safety matters. And you are responsible for creating it. Nobody else. So today, I would love for you to think of what is one thing that you can do today to make your well-being a priority. Put it in the chat. Let's give each other some inspiration and ideas. What is one thing? And if one is super easy, go ahead and put 2 or 3. Something that you can do for yourself today to remind your inner child to show up as that loving adult for yourself, that you matter, and that you're going to take some steps, some action, some loving action to show up for you. Meditate, go on a long hike with my dog. This 1-hour meeting today. Thank you. Say nice things to myself. Dance. Ooh, she's going to put her tap shoes on. Oh, that's exciting and fun. Be in my garden. Oh, these are all so healthy. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. Such good ideas. These are all awesome. Yes. So, as we feel into the gift of being present, making your well being a priority, I want to share with you a meditation that I want for you to. Is there anybody else in the room that has a family pattern that is related to something generationally, something you got handed down from somebody? I see some hands. Yeah. Oh, and we have another great idea here, chiropractor, going to the chiropractor who gives great hugs. Oh, that's so beautiful. Someone in your life that is healthy, that you can co-regulate with, that you can just sit and immerse in a 10-second hug. That's juicy. That is so good to be held, to be held. There's so much healing in that, isn't there? Yeah. Oh, not asking for what I want is generational from my bloodline. Bloodline always settling. That one hits my heart. I can feel that one too. Yeah. So before we start this meditation, I'm going to go ahead and put that link for the breathwork session in real quick because I want to make sure that before we jump into the meditation that you've all had ample opportunity to sign up for this session. So this will be a free breathwork session that we're offering on June 20th. And you don't have to be present, but I'll make sure that you get the emotional awareness map. So it helps you to understand when we're triggered. It gives you a resource of how to come back home to your heart and understand how making your vibration and keeping it as your priority is going to make the greatest breakthroughs for maintaining your power, your passion, and your presence, and giving you that peace of knowing yourself, of being present with yourself. Okay. So I'd love for everybody to just settle into your chair, just feel your butt in the seat. Feel your body and your weight just sinking into the chair. All right. You can close your eyes. Take some of those regulation breaths right now. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And feel into your heart. Feel into your heart space, creating safety within your heart and opening your heart, feeling present, connected. And let that loving energy, feeling that unwavering love for you, penetrate within your heart. And knowing that your heart is connected to every cell in your body, feeling into your blood flow as your heart is pumping. Each second, it's sending blood to different parts of your body. Just imagine all of the parts of your body feeling that flow of the blood that's coming from your heart and just feeling all of that love penetrating in every cell of your body right now. And now allow your energy to travel down through your solar plexus, feeling into that brilliant warmth, that power center. Just feeling that power expand through every cell of your body, interconnected through all of the nerves of your body, all through your nervous system. Feeling that power just come online. And now moving your energy down into your sacral area, feeling the energy of your womb, your creativity, the blessing of nurturing you, moving through every organ of your body, every cell of your body. And now down to your base or your root chakra at your tailbone. And just feeling your interconnection with the earth, feeling your energy move down through your legs, down through your feet, and connecting to the ground below you. Connecting down your feet, feeling fully rooted, feeling the energy of your feet grounding to the earth, grounding down, and pulling that energy of the earth back up through your legs, up into your torso, back up to your heart, moving up to your throat, feeling the energy in your throat, that ability to speak your truth, to share your voice in the world, to know that your voice matters, and allow that energy to expand and feel it throughout your body. And again, moving up into the third eye and feeling the intuition coming online, opening that third eye, opening that beautiful interconnection within to the presence of your higher self, your soul self available for giving you downloads and insight. And just asking in this moment, is there any downloads, any light codes or activations that your DNA is opening to for activating within you, within every cell of your being? And now connecting up your crown, opening your crown up to the higher elevation of knowing the love of God, Source, Creator, that universal intelligence and flow, and opening up to this energy and allowing yourself to feel the flow of it coming in through the top of your head, moving down into all of the cells of your body, this deeper knowing and understanding of the energy and sovereignty that you have the capacity to be present with, to receive from, and feeling this connect back into your heart and throughout every cell of your body, knowing that you are the center point between heaven and earth. You matter. You are precious. You are loved. You are a child of God, a son or a daughter, divine feminine, divine masculine within every part of your being. We all have both of this eternal knowing of divine masculine, divine feminine, and capacity to hold the energy of each, because we have our divine feminine owning the receptivity, owning the nurturing qualities, the loving, the creativity, the beauty, the joy, and the divine masculine, the focus, the divine control, divinity of the essence of that fatherly love that we've often sought outside of ourselves, and knowing you have your back, that strength, that sound, strong essence, knowing that you can call on this essence at any time. You can call on this focus, this clarity, this action, the ability to take strong action, the ability to stand up for yourself and speak your truth when you need to, the strength to show up for yourself without a mask. And bringing these divine qualities all together within your body, mind, and soul, in every cell of your body, and feeling that knowing that within you. And as you feel every cell of your body feeling the nurturing qualities of love, presence, focus, valued priority of you, that your well being is your priority and that you matter, that you are precious. And no matter where you are, you're never alone. You are never alone. You always have this presence within you of your higher self, of the divine essence of creator energy, of that divinity, of God, of source, of love. It is the purest essence of unwavering love. And just breathe into that and trust. Trust yourself to move forward from this day forward, knowing that you will be present with your power, with your passion, with your purpose, and you being the gift of you matters in this world, that you radiate with light and love. And take a couple deep breaths here. And now you can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and just start feeling back into your body. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back into the room. So at this time, I would love to open it up to any questions. Can have a Q&A time. You can either drop them in the chat if you have any questions, or you can come online and ask your questions. It's as we talked a little bit about generational healing, and generational healing happens when we come home to our heart, when we're present with knowing that our parents, they weren't perfect. If you've had children, you know that you weren't perfect. We've all made some pretty big mistakes in our lives. I know raising my son, I've made a few too. And it's a journey healing those wounds, and they're still healing. But we don't want our children and our grandchildren to continue to carry these wounds. So we get to stand up and become self-responsible to heal the wounds that we feel inside of our heart. One of my greatest tools is the breath work. And again, you can see that link in the chat if you haven't signed up. I would love to offer each one of you 30 minutes of time with me. And what I'll do is, by signing up, it's called a life activation call, your divine destiny life activation call. And so it's 30 minutes with me that help you to recognize where some of these patterns came into to play, what your triggers are, to help you to understand them better so that you can finally release them and let them go, so you can heal the generational trauma. Thank you. Yeah, because it is about what we're carrying. And we have the capacity to heal that shadow inside of us, but we have to truly want to show up. We need to know that we're blessed to show up. taking self-responsibility for healing, for recognizing we're all flawed in our own ways. Me too. I'm flawed. And I'm divine. You know, I know the divine essence within me, and I know that anything was part of the divine perfection of me having these flaws. They made me me. They had me explore all these different routes of coming back home to me. You know, they say there's many paths up the mountaintop, but the view from the summit is always the same. So I'm so blessed that our paths intersected because we are walking each other home. And for me, home is right here as the mystical nomad. So I am so blessed to share, to contribute, to gift you with 30 minutes of my time for this life activation call. They're your divine destiny life activation call. So 30 minutes to decipher what is coming up for you. Where are your triggers? Where did they come from? And a path forward on how to help you release them. So feel free to sign up, and I will be reaching out to each one of you so that we can schedule a time on my calendar. It's a busy week. There's a lot happening. And in this moment, there's nothing greater that I would love to invest my time in than to be with each one of you. So I'm so grateful that you each chose to invest your time with me because I am truly blessed by your presence, because you matter and you are precious and you are loved. So with that, with love and compassion for all of our ancestors, for the path that they walked, for their difficult choices that they made, for the difficult lessons that they had to learn, for the difficult ways that we've had to learn with them and grow beyond that learning. With love and compassion, we send them light and love. To all of our ancestors, to our parents, to our grandparents, to our great-grandparents. And just imagine the whole group right in front of you of all of your ancestors and sending them all love. And with so much love, we're handing over those patterns. And they're taking them back to the point of origin, returning them to the energy of native nothingness. Just energy. It's just energy. We put too much emphasis on what everything is. Remember, this is not that. We're going to give it back. And now they're sending something beautiful to each one of you. See them in front of you because they're passing forward some beautiful gifts. Recognize those gifts. Recognize how beautiful those gifts are. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Wow. Gifts, talents, abilities. I see we have some ancestral powerhouses that are recognizing that you are some generational pattern breakers, that it is time. And you are the ones that have come to change the trajectory of these patterns, to have them be complete and fully recognize the beauty that is within each one of you, the gifts within each one of you. Thank you. So precious. So do we have any questions in the house? Anything I can support you with here that might be a contribution? And just put in the chat if you need me to stop recording. or go ahead and just unmute yourself, and I can go ahead and we can let you be on camera so you can be seen and heard and share whatever's coming up for you, or if you have anything that you'd like to work through right now. You're so welcome. It is such an honor to hold this space. And you are so welcome. I'm so glad. I hear it. See in the chat. I needed this today. How amazing. And signing up for the breathwork class. Yay! So make sure to follow me in Eventbrite, because you will see more master classes. You will see a 5-day challenge coming up. I like to say it's a 5-day breathwork journey, because it's a journey of reconnecting, respiriting with your breath. So that will be coming up, as well as the free breathwork session. And truly wanting to be a contribution on your journey so that you can feel it, so you can heal it. Somatic, again, means in the body. So you can feel it, so you can heal it. Because we've just lost too many people. We've lost too many precious empathic souls to addiction, to codependency with unhealthy people where they never broke free from the cycle. And I'm standing unwavering in love, sending love to all those that are caught in this cycle. So with that, my heart goes out to any of your loved ones. We can send our love to someone that we know that needs it right now. And it may be to yourself, sending love to you. Sending love to those that are in your heart right now. Holding that space of love. Having space for grace. Acknowledging compassion for ourselves. Compassion for one another. Compassion for our ancestors. That's where healing happens, is in that space of love. I'm Jacqueline Bamanek with Vibrational Energy Solutions. I am your transformational life coach, your resilience and recovery mentor. If I can support you in any way, feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. From my heart to yours, sending you so much love. Hoping you're making it a great day. Sending so much love your way. Bye for now.